Welcome to the Jean Hales Kitchen. My name's Sandra Villella and I'm the naturopath and herbalist at Jean Hales. People often ask me, how can I cook tofu? How can I incorporate tofu into my diet, knowing that it's a good food full of phytoestrogens, a good source of vegetable protein? I really enjoy eating tofu when I eat at Asian restaurants, and I've kind of taught myself how to use tofu. This is a recipe, a pumpkin tofu curry, and it incorporates tofu, pumpkin, some green leafy vegetables on brown rice. Just what the naturopath ordered really, brown rice, green leafy vegetables, coloured vegetables. For this, I use a firm tofu. So you can see that it's quite firm to touch. There are different types of tofu. Some are a little squishier, some are more silken or runny, but we need a firm tofu for this. You can roughly use about 200 grams per person of pumpkin. You don't have to be too specific because really you can, at the end when you're adding in the coconut milk, it will be just about making the consistency right. So the most important thing is having the size of the pumpkin and the tofu consistent for the cooking. So I just do about 2 to 3 centimetre little cubes. And we'll also be doing that with the tofu. Pop those in. Now with the tofu, this is firm, so it is quite easy to cut. And just if you're putting in about that size. And just the last bit of tofu. Tofu, even though it is a firm tofu, it is still quite gentle, so you'll need to be careful when we're tossing the tofu through. Now we need to toss through some oil. I use olive oil for most of my cooking. It's a good source of monounsaturated fats. And probably just a light toss so that the tofu doesn't break up too much. That looks like it's coated quite well. Just put this into an oven-proof dish. Okay, now that will go into a preheated oven and that will need to be cooked, but we do need to add some cashews to it later. Now using the same bowl where there's still a little bit of oil in the bowl, toss the cashews through. I like cashews, so you can be as generous as you like with those. Now the cashews will take a lot less time to cook, so we put those in after the vegetables and the tofu have been cooking for 40 minutes. So that's ready to go. You put it into a preheated oven on 180 to 200 degrees and cook it for about an hour. You'll need to check it every now and then, give it a bit of a toss. After about an hour, the pumpkin and tofu should be nice and crispy and ready to get out of the oven. So we need to prepare our curry. Essentially, you can use any curry paste you like. I'm using a red curry today, and do be guided by the guidelines on the packet. So if it says 1 dessert spoon per person, use it like that. And again, use it to your taste. Now, tofu is a good source of vegetarian protein. And one of the reasons that I recommend that women particularly have tofu is it's a very rich source of phytoestrogens or plant estrogens. Now for some women, we know that about 1/3 of all of the population, men and women, have a particular gut bacteria that converts the active phytoestrogen in the tofu and the soy products to a more active form. So for those people, they can get greater benefits out of having the tofu. That is, they may get some symptom relief for perimenopausal symptoms, for example, hot flushes. Not everyone, but about 1/3 of the population, so 1/3 of women will do that. Now we need to heat up a wok, add in our curry paste, add in our coconut milk, and then the rest of the ingredients. Warm up the curry paste and add a little bit of the coconut milk to get the paste nice and broken up. Okay, you can smell those nice curry flavours. To reduce the saturated fat content of this meal, use low-fat coconut milk because the pumpkin really does kind of fatten up the consistency and gives it a nice smooth consistency and not watery with the low-fat coconut milk. Now by the end of this, it should be quite a lot of liquid, because remember you're putting quite a lot of content in, and you know part of the best part of the curry is the juice that you put over the top of the rice. So just stir it until it starts to heat up, and when it starts to look like it's beginning to boil, then you can add in the pumpkin and the tofu. You can see that starting to boil. Just add in our tofu and our pumpkin gently, and the cashews too. Now the tofu acts like a bit of a sponge and soaks up some of that liquid, so it is really important that there is enough liquid to start with. And you'll know that this will be ready when the pumpkin starts to break up a bit, so there will be a richer orange colour. So turn down the heat, stir it occasionally, and just allow the flavours to penetrate into the tofu and to the vegetable. So after about 10 minutes of this slow simmering, you can see that the sauce has thickened up and some of the pumpkin has broken down. And very importantly, the tofu has softened, taken on that flavour and also the juice to make it really tasty. I've got baby spinach here. Remember that spinach really breaks down, so use about a handful, a big handful per person. And you just need to stir that until the spinach has wilted. Now look at that colour. It's not just the curry paste that makes it so orange, it's that beautiful pumpkin. We're going to serve this on brown rice that has been cooked. Brown rice is much better than white rice because it contains the whole grain, and the whole grains are much richer in B vitamins and also fibre. So it does take a little bit longer to cook brown rice, but it's worth the effort. So we serve up some brown rice. Just a few scoops. Top it with this lovely curry. Making sure you've got plenty of tofu in there as well. Some cashews. And then top it with the coriander. I like to keep the coriander raw because once you put it onto the hot food, the flavour will go through, but you can put the coriander into the wok as well. And there you have a beautiful tofu pumpkin curry, a great way to incorporate some tofu into your diet, some good serves of vegetables and some whole grain brown rice. Enjoy.